it's just, I'm dumbfounded. I'm actually dumbfounded how it could add that much power, and the percentages add up, folks. So I did a little math here. Kittens, I have 2 of them. You can contact me through my email. It's down below. Folks, what's going on? Michael back with another awesome episode right here on Oregon Adventure. Today we're talking about my 2005 Dodge Cummins and some of the mods I've recently got done to it. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you about the great advantage of one of the mods that I did. I'm going to show you some of the other mods I did, but mostly we're going to talk about my tuner that I put in. And I'm going to be telling you guys about how it can save you money in the long run. So let's jump into it. So if you guys seen my last video, you guys know that I had some plans to do some things on this truck, and I got a couple of those accomplished. A couple of them not accomplished yet, but you know, it's going to be a work in progress or whatever. So the first thing that I did is I got the rear shocks put on. I just went with some rough country shocks, and I got those put on the rear, and it mellowed out the ride a little bit. The truck still rides pretty rough though for what it is. It's got new shocks all the way around, but with this crazy lift on it, I mean, I guess it's kind of expected or whatever. So I don't know. Another thing I did is, instead of putting seat covers on it, I know maybe some of you guys seen in the last video where I had a little tear in my seat, and I was talking about getting seat covers for it, but instead I found these stock replacement covers on Amazon. So on the driver's seat, I put a new cushion and cover on it, and it matches perfectly, which is super cool. I'm going to post all the links down to everything I've got on the truck down in the description below. So if you guys are interested in getting some of these items for your truck, I didn't even know about the seat cover. Super impressed with it. It was super cheap, like 60 bucks or something too. So yeah, those are all going to be linked down in the description below, and they are Amazon affiliate links, and they help support the channel. So make sure and use those links. It's a pretty cool deal. The next thing I did is I got my windows tinted, and I went with blacking out the back 3 windows, and they came out pretty good. Found a guy on Amazon Marketplace, and he came out. He was mobile, didn't have to drive anywhere. He came out, did the tint, and it turned out pretty good. I got the side windows done. This one wasn't tinted and the other side was, and it was really bugging me. So he tore the tint off the other side and put brand new tint on both sides. So this is Oregon legal. I believe it's 35%. And then this is the blacked out version. You can still kind of see in them, but it's not too bad. And the truck already had factory tint on it, so the window was tinted like inside, and then so it's kind of like doubled up or whatever. So super happy with that. It makes the truck look really awesome, and I'm stoked. The next thing I did is I got my K&N intake system, which I'm pretty happy about. It really makes the truck sound awesome. You can really hear the turbo, especially with the tuner on the tune that I'm running. There's some back and forth on the K&N and whatnot. I don't know. If you guys have any issues with K&N, you guys can post down in the comments and tell me what's going on and that kind of thing. So the other thing I did, you guys know I'm kind of working on the high frequency vibration. I'm getting at highway speeds, and I still haven't really got that figured out. I did get the tires rotated and balanced, but I got them rotated and balanced after our trip to California. I just recently made a trip to California. We had a family emergency, kind of had to go down there and hang out. So I was down there, I think, for 8 or 9 days, and put over 2,000 miles on the truck during that trip. Ran like a top, ran beautifully. It's pretty good. The truck, it seems super reliable. It's just really, seems to be getting really noisy around 70 miles an hour. And after I got the tires balanced and rotated, it didn't really make any difference, except it steered easier, which is kind of typical when you get your tires rotated. But I did notice a little bit of play in my output shaft and on the output yoke coming out of the transfer case. So I'm kind of contemplating getting a new yoke and then throwing some like really thick grease in there. I've kind of posted on Facebook and talked to some people about it. I think that could be the issue, but I'm not 100% sure. What's weird is, like, when I first bought the truck, it was more pronounced, and it seems like it's kind of going away. It's nothing crazy. It's just a little bit annoying, and I know the truck can be a lot smoother. Half of me is thinking that it's these big tires on here. You know, I don't know. So if you guys have any information on that, you guys can post down below in the comments and let me know what you think, and give me some kind of direction or whatever. I'm not 100% sure. The U-joints look fine. You know, I don't know. All right, so the main focus of this video is the Edge CTS 3 tuner, and it's the Evolution. There's another model, I think, that is just gauges, so it just shows you the parameters or whatever. It shows you, you know, It doesn't tune the truck. It just shows you the gauges, whatever, basically, and lets you monitor more things than what your stock dash does. I got the Evolution, which allows me to put tunes on it. And so I got it about 3 days before we left for California, and I didn't really experiment with it much before we left. I put it on level 4, drove back and forth to work a couple times. Right out of the gate, noticed an increase in fuel mileage, which kind of blew me away because the truck had more power and it was getting better fuel mileage. So on the way down to California, I figured, well, put it in economy on the economy tune, and that should get the best fuel mileage. That wasn't really the case. I drove all the way down to California with the economy tune down to Southern California, which is just over 1,000 miles from here. And I didn't really see an increase in fuel mileage, maybe a little bit, but not much. So I was kind of like, So when I got to California, I did a little bit of driving around while I was down there, and I put it on level 5 and just kind of putted around, got on the freeway a couple times, just messing around a little bit, and noticed a drastic increase in fuel mileage. I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, something's wrong or something. And so I started doing more research on it. And a lot of guys were saying, yeah, run the bigger tunes, the hotter tunes, you'll get better fuel mileage because it messes with the timing, the injection timing of the fuel going into the engine. And so I didn't really want to, the downside of the level 5 tune, this may sound a little weird, but the throttle pedal, the gas pedal, whatever you want to call it, it's too sensitive. Like you really got to be on your A game not to jerk the truck back and forth because there's just so much torque. I think on this year model of truck with the hot tune on the CTS 3, it puts it over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque and like right at 500 horsepower, something like that. And I didn't want to make the long drive back on level 5. So I put it on level 4, and we drove all the way back on level 4, and I seen a solid 10% increase in fuel mileage, which is just astounding. I couldn't believe it. So that was awesome. So what I did when I got back home now is I put it on level 5, and I've been commuting for, I think, 4 days now. And I'm seeing 21 and a half miles per gallon on this truck now commuting. And one interesting thing is I don't take the freeway to work. I take mainly back roads, and I get on the freeway for maybe a couple miles right before I get to work. And then when I come home from work, I get on the freeway for a couple miles and then get back off and take the back road so I don't have to deal with people on the freeway or whatever. This truck gets better gas mileage driving around town. It seems like the best gas mileage I can see is like in 5th gear going around 45 miles an hour, which it's kind of weird. It almost reminds me of like an electric vehicle, where electric vehicles get they have less battery consumption in the city versus the highway where it drains the battery faster. So it's kind of the same principle here. And maybe some of that could have to do with this being a G56 transmission. It's lower geared, but I also have the big tires on it, so that's hindering the fuel mileage too. But yeah, I'm running right below 2,000 RPMs. It's like 1950, 1980 at 70 miles an hour on this truck. And that is going to put me right around, I think average right around 19 miles to the gallon. And then putting back and forth to work on and off the freeway, that's where I'm getting the 21 and a half. I think when I go to work, because I'm coming down a hill when I leave, I can get almost 22 miles to the gallon. So that's amazing. And those are just kind of estimates. I've got that's the other advantage about the CTS 3. If you have large tires like this, you can tell it what size tires you have, and then it'll recalibrate your speedometer. So it puts your fuel mileage gauge, it's a lot more accurate, so to speak. But I'm not really going off like those exact numbers. I'm just kind of going off percentages. And the percentages add up, folks. So I did a little math here, and it was quite astounding. So I'm just going to give you guys a couple examples. If you guys have the CTS tuner, what kind of savings you can get from just installing the tuner. And it literally takes 2 minutes to install. So I average about 10 to 12,000 miles a year. So far, I'm way above that because we just made the trip to California. And for Thanksgiving, we're going back down to California, but Northern California. So that's going to be, I think, 800-mile round trip or something like that, somewhere in that ballpark. But so if you drive 10,000 miles a year and your fuel is $4 a gallon, which that's kind of hard to find right now, you're going to save around $300 a year. So there's that. If you do 12,000 miles a year and gas is at $4.50 a gallon, you're going to save $405 a year. So just by installing this tuner and running the hot tunes, you're gonna pay for the tuner with those kind of miles in about 2 years. Now, if you guys are driving more, like say 20,000 miles a year, you'll pay for it within the first year. So it's a pretty decent savings. It equates to like 2.5 full tanks of fuel free per year, which is pretty sweet. And I know, like, my wife always talking to me about, oh, you're gonna ruin the engine and ruin this and that and everything. And I've done quite a bit of research on it, and as long as you're not romping on the truck, I don't think that it's really affecting the longevity of the vehicle. Now, some of the older Edge tuners, I think the Edge Juice with Attitude, that kind of had a bad reputation. This is a completely different system, and basically all it's doing is changing the injection timing. So like I said, if you're not romping on it, so you can set up alarms on the Edge tuner, and you can, like, it'll flash at you and start dinging at you if your boost is too high, or I've just set the boost up, but there's other alarms that you can set too. So, for instance, like, we were going through Sacramento, I was going around to pass some people, and even on level 4, the acceleration is out of control. Going 70 miles an hour, you can just goose the throttle for a second or two, and you're going 90. It's like that much power. It's wild, the amount of torque and power that the vehicle has with that. And so I had the alarm set, I think, at 33 pounds of boost or something like that. So then it starts going off and dinging and stuff, and when something like that happens, you just automatically let out the throttle. I might turn it up to 35 pounds. I'm not 100% sure. My last truck, I believe I had the alarm set at like 45 pounds of boost. That truck would make crazy boost. And I'm sure this truck would make the crazy boost too if I let it or whatever. But I think going back to just babying the truck, and the way I've been driving it lately is just trying to get the best fuel mileage. So I'm literally babying the truck around with the hot tune. And that's where I'm really just getting those high numbers. So, I mean, if you guys are doing a lot of driving and even towing or whatever, I highly recommend looking into the Edge CTS Evolution, because like I said, I mean, you do 20,000 miles a year, it's going to pay for itself in the first year. And then after that, you're literally making money off of it. As long as you're not romping on it all the time, trying to blow your head gasket with 50 pounds of boost or whatever, I think it's a good investment. On top of that, you constantly have a readout of all the parameters. And I think there's, I don't know, I want to say 30 or 40 different gauges you can set up on it. It's all adjustable. Backgrounds are adjustable, all that stuff. So, you can look at I think one of mine is the fuel gauge, like how much fuel's left. Another one is the coolant temperature. And it's exact. It's not like the gauge that kind of just wanders around, on your dash. You have boost right out of the gate. Now, you have to get a separate EGT sensor for that. But I already have gauges on my pod, so I already have the EGT sensor there. It's pretty awesome. One thing that I would like to do is do an oil pressure gauge, and that would be an add-on that I would have to add on to the Edge. It's not going to read your oil pressure, and I don't think it reads your oil temp either. I'm really interested in the oil temp and the oil pressure, especially driving to work with a cold engine and that kind of thing would really help out. Is what it is. But there's all kinds of extra gauges, and like you can add switches to it too. So if you guys have auxiliary off-road lights, you guys can hook them up to the Edge CTS and control, and you'll have like digital switches on the screen. The screen's touch screen and all that stuff. So it's really cool. I currently have it mounted up in the top corner of the windshield. Part of me wants to get the pod mount, and then I can take out my boost gauge and put it where that is, and I'll still have the EGT sensor there, so I don't have to buy the extra deal or whatever. But for right now, it's working out really well. And it's just really nice just glancing up on the top of the windshield and having all your information there, ready to go. Like you can set the alarms, do all that stuff. It also reads your diagnostics. So if you have a check engine light that comes on, it'll read the codes for you. It also records. So if you were having an issue with the check engine light, you could hit record, and then it data logs everything, all the parameters. And so you can see exactly what's kind of going on, possibly send that to your mechanic. He can maybe point you in the right direction. So overall, just really super happy with the system. And I think it's a great upgrade for these older diesel trucks like this. And even they make them for the newer ones too. So it's a really, really cool item. And it's just something I wanted to share with you guys because like it's just, I'm dumbfounded. I'm actually dumbfounded how it could add that much power, but at the same time get better fuel mileage. So it's like the more power you're adding, the better the fuel mileage is, which doesn't compute in my brain 100%. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any experiences with the CTS's evolutions. Post down in the comments below. Let me know what your experience is. If you blew your motor with one, or you've been running one for 5 years and it's working out great for you, I'd love to know. And yeah, we'll go from there. So that's gonna wrap up this video, you guys. I have another video I'm trying to work on, but my gun room has kind of been taken over by kittens from Hawaii. Yeah, I have 2 kittens in my gun room right now from Hawaii. They're rescue kitties. If you guys are interested in any kittens, I have 2 of them. You can contact me through my email. It's down below in the description. I'm close to the Portland area. And yeah, it'll be all good. So until next time, folks, Oregon Adventure.